Into the Nexus is a production of amove.tv. Bookmark Amove TV for other great video games and esports podcasts. Into the Nexus is sponsored by listeners like you via patreon.com/ITN. Welcome back, everyone. This is Into the Nexus, the podcast all about Heroes of the Storm. I am one half of the giant Blizzard fanboy duo that is Into the Nexus, Garrett Weinzierl, and he is the other half, Kyle Fergusson. With our powers combined, we bring to you hilarity, some strategy, and maybe you'll learn something, but we do not guarantee it. Hey, dude.
How's it going, man?
It is wild, sir. It is wild. I know. There's like 3 people out there who really don't like him when we start the show off with personal anecdotes, but everyone else seems to enjoy it. So I'm going to tell you that today is one of those days, Kyle, where I thought I could do it all. I thought I could be that guy, and I found out that I cannot be that guy. And as I told you, my breakfast this morning was beef jerky. So it's a weird day. It's a very weird day, and not just because we're doing this on Friday at 3 p.m. Eastern time instead of Thursday at 8 p.m. But it's strange, man. This is such an off week, my lord.
Oh, well, you're moving. Your whole life is in boxes. Moving stinks. You wonder why you own all this heavy stuff. Why do you even own a desk that's pure wood? Like, all these sort of things come up. But unpacking's fun, right?
Yes, yeah. Trying to create a new organized life is fantastic. It's kind of like when you go back to Heroes, you open up your profile, you look at your favorites bar and go, I don't actually play any of these heroes. Time to make a new favorites bar. Yay!
That's the same sort of thing I do. You know, rearrange all the roster. I feel like you have a fresh view on things. Set up the desk, unpack the computer, install all the programs if you got a new computer. All those sort of things are fantastic. And I myself am having a crazy, crazy week. I started working out again, and I don't say that to Kyle's working out like it's something along those lines. No, it is a discovery. It is mind-boggling that I've never worked out before in my life for real. And all the time I've wasted by basically sitting in my room and doing the equivalent of blowing on the clarinet so my parents can hear it. It wasn't for me. I wasn't actually putting in the hard work that makes an actual workout rip your muscles. And the times that I maybe did those things back in college, I was on some sort of weird diet because reasons, and I thought, you need to eat to have muscles. So it's this weird culmination of accepting reality. Also, I have an amazing wife who's very good at this fitness thing to sort of guide me through it and let me know how hard I'm supposed to hurt at the end of these things.
What the normal level is, whether it's, yo, you're doing it right, or you should see a doctor.
Literally, you should not be able to lift things when you're done.
Cool.
These things you are moving are so heavy that you cannot complete them in your current form. And
I have to say now, I'm curious if you've learned anything from this that you can apply to lessons when you go and teach folks how to be better Heroes players.
Absolutely. And that's the mind-boggling thing right now. It is a sort of dojo workshop for myself. Doing these workouts, actually pushing 100%. And when I go back to Heroes, I'm wondering, what can I do more? What can I do to become better? And so this Tuesday on my stream, I opened up the calls. And I said, call in and teach me something. Let's all just come together. Let's have a crowdsourced learning experience.
For Heroes, right? Not working out.
Right,
okay,
for Heroes.
Just clarifying. All right.
And people showed up, and we spent a good 3 hours taking calls, talking with people, listening to their tidbits, exchanging information. And the biggest thing that I walked away with was, once again, after a 3-hour stint, I don't have another wonderful thing to throw at you guys. I do not have some glorious jeweled tidbit that'll get every Silvers player into Platinum. It's all darn hard work, which led me to go back around and see where can I improve outside of the nitpicks, right? Those are the hardest right now. Those are the most exhausting. Those are the things that you get when you're at the top. They're not form for the workouts. They're not making sure you're standing right so you don't hurt yourself. These are literally things like the one that probably just shocked me the most and was almost offensive, but it's so true and it hurts so bad, was when I'm on Tychus and I'm going to take a mercenary camp, the giants, 2 giants standing next to each other, I power up by overkill. And I start spraying bullets across both of them. But I would start the overkill when I wasn't on the prime angle to hit both at the same time. Instead, I would turn it on and then take a step to the side, thereby missing a good 200 damage on one of the giants. That is unoptimized. That is ineffective. And it costs my team nothing because the rest of my team isn't playing at a level that matters. So, how insane is it to have to make yourself play at a level that you are not experiencing in your own game? But then I realized that's what we're asking everyone in Silver to do.
Yeah, I mean, that if everyone in Silver starts working on that, then all of a sudden your team is playing at that level, in theory, right? But of course, the golden question is, how do you even accomplish something like that? Is it wasted time in my brain even considering, oh, what a wonderful world it would be if that's what happened? Because it seems like it's kind of a fool's errand.
Right, let's say I'm in Silver and I have a wonderful understanding of rotations. This is the things that usually mind-boggle me the most is, people will show up and they'll be like, Kyle, dude, your rotations are awful. You gotta figure out how to do your rotations, man. And I'm like, okay, cool. Let's talk about that. Let's dig in. Let's see what you mean by that. Well, you see, on Dragonshire, you should have one guy in the bottom, and then all the other 4 people should be moving between the middle and the top, back and forth. And I go, whoa, hang on a second. That's not solo queue anymore. That's impossible. I can't get these. I can't even get the guy in the bottom lane to stay there for the whole time in Diamond 1. He wants to go visit the mid. He wants to travel around. He wants to have some fun. How am I supposed to get 3 other people with me to move between the mid and the top? But having an understanding of why that is the most efficient way to do it, and possibly exerting the effort to get my team to do it, will equal a victory because it's the most efficient thing to do. So, in my current form, in my current place, my ego, everything is telling me, you don't need to optimize that darn siege camp because it doesn't matter, but it does. And just like if stutter stepping is completely useless to you, if you feel like it won't even help you at all in Silver because the level of players around you are so bad, they're the ones keeping you down, you have to do the stutter step. You have to be all you can be. And isn't that exhausting?
Yes. Yes, it is. Wherever you are, if you want to climb, you have to give your all every single game. And we've heard this from you many times, especially when you get into your get good blasts where you're just cramming games, game after game, for long stints of a time, for weeks on end, leading into months on end. That's what happens, right? There's no time to breathe, really. It becomes StarCraft again.
And I feel like maybe I put heroes in the wrong mindset. I've never actually gotten amazing at anything in my life. And that goes for these workouts. I've been working out since early high school, but I've never achieved anything because I wasn't eating right and I wasn't actually working out to the full degree. I've never mastered an instrument. I always had classes. I'd go to summer camp and I did fencing. I did archery. Like, what a ridiculous Batman lifestyle I had growing up, where I got to do all these random things, but I never got actually good at anything.
Yeah. No.
So now I'm having to get good. And I'm also playing Stardew Valley at the same time to calm down.
That is a fantastic game to do that on. I've been playing Civ 6.
It's bad for sleep, though, because it is a 5 more minutes kind of game.
Yes.
Even though there's, like, nothing going on. Oh, my goodness. It really is, like, addiction. Like, the bad kind of addiction. Because you really don't want to be there, but you just got to check your turnips and see if they're ready. But yes. I've learned through doing those sort of games, those strategy games, that maybe it's a human feature, maybe it's just me. I will pursue automation till the end of days. I was not interested in Stardew Valley, but then I learned you could get sprinkler systems. And I'm like, I'm on board. Yes. I'm all about sprinklers and automation and Factorio and playing a game long enough till I get bored because I got too good at it. But what if I achieve Masters? Am I then going to slack off because there's no more point loss? Possibly. That is what would happen. So I'm having to craft myself into someone that will, when I achieve Masters, continue to be the best I can be. And that's exhausting.
Heroes is one of those games where you really do kind of have to, at a certain point, when you reach a certain level, you have to probably take a step back and realize what your next goal is because of reasons like that, right? This isn't something I've had with Heroes because mine is always improve. But that's usually my goal in all of the games I do shows about, and I do a lot of shows about games. So I'm improving in all of them, and I never really hit my pinnacle.
I'm sure to some people listening, this is ridiculous. Kyle, you got to get good to get good? No, duh. Congratulations on your discovery, but to me, it's a really big deal. And it works into a really great post that was made by Srey this past week. He, of course, does the tier lists.
Yes.
And something we did even last show was go through a bunch of tier lists. And whenever a hero comes out, we talk about hot slogs. So I dove into this article, and it was such perfect timing for me that I wanted to make sure we shared quite a bit of it with you guys.
Yeah, it is hard to really surmise this in a way I think that's going to do it justice, so I want to kick things off with, if you haven't read this, I think you should go and read the entire thing. It's over on Reddit right now on the Heroes of the Storm subreddit. We also have a direct link in the show notes. Boy, Srey, really, really dropping some truth bombs here.
And one of the best things this article did was humanize him.
Mm-hmm.
Because he's from on high delivering tier lists to us, and it's so easy to just go "Mer," in the face of that knowledge being passed down.
Yeah. And the thing I find hilarious about this is if you go and look at the post, like, it looks like it's just going to be this like kind of small specific thing about don't split push as Azmodan, and instead it kind of starts like that, but mostly it becomes into this kind of philosophical, beautifully written explanation of how pretty much the single best piece of advice you can give anyone on how to be better at Heroes is it depends.
Yep.
It really comes down to like those two words in this very well written post by Srey, is that in a lot of cases in the game of Heroes of the Storm, kind of like you said at the beginning, all the work you did after 3 hours of taking feedback from everyone, that you don't have a pretty little package with a bow on top to then go and give to folks who want information, who want to improve. And that's definitely what I got from Srey's post, because it's this long post, and it kind of all coalesces with there's 1,000,001 ways that you can get better at Heroes, and he goes into a long discussion of why taking hot slogs at face value is dangerous if your goal is to improve. But that it all comes down to it's a shifting game, and at any point you need to make judgment calls based on the information you have.
Yeah. And I think one of the best things he does here is describe why Hero League is the way it is, and why we're sort of spiraling this problem by incorporating hot slog knowledge into our Hero League games.
Yeah, I mean, and do you feel that we've been guilty of taking hot slogs at holding them too high on our show? Because we reference them constantly.
Yeah, absolutely. And I feel like that's something we need to be careful of and take a step back from. One of the big points he makes here is that this is not another MOBA. And because there's too many maps. And something along that just doesn't gel right, because we're told that this is the casual version of the game. And it is. Because Heroes has all these maps with all these different objectives, so you can't get as granular. You can't have a tier list. Really, in essence, the tier list is just a suggestion, because no matter what happens, the trees have moved, the objective is moved. And while people like to keep things in the casual, in fact, the many, many maps we have encourages people to say, basically, I'm not going to memorize all that. I'll just get really, really good with certain heroes. So I think the biggest bomb he dropped on the community with this post was mechanically, Heroes players are all pretty darn good. Because we don't have last hitting, because we don't have these systems for the mechanical play to increase the skill ceiling, everyone in the majority of leagues above bronze has about the same mechanical level. You can all control your characters well, which is why it's so frustrating when you feel like people don't understand how to play the game. When in fact, you're being indecisive too. You are controlling that Raynor like heck, and you're just doing a great job out there, buddy. But when objectives pop, you don't know when that time is. You don't know how you should report to it, where you should position around that objective, because there's simply too many maps for the casual player to become that good. So instead, it's just this cluster, and everyone runs around, and everyone's just trying to kill each other because they're all on their best heroes. You know, something he says here is, Gazelle has an amazing win rate, and this guy, Srey, has certainly received enough emails from people saying, your tier list is wrong. I school with Gazelle and Masters all the time. That's great. It doesn't change the fact that you have amazing mechanical skills, but as a community, as an entire game, we do not understand how to play these maps.
That was the other, that was the other kind of big thing, which was, I believe he said something to the effect of, I should have pulled the quote out so I don't misquote it, but something to the effect of where this is how you end up with players in Masters who really don't understand the game. They're mechanically perfect. Like they have that one character that they just schooled with all the way into Masters, but they don't understand the team aspect, and they don't have a good enough knowledge of all of the maps that they're actually helpful in this game that is so team dependent.
So what can you do about that? And in fact, he doesn't quite give an answer yet. Maybe it's still too young of a game. Maybe it's just by design going to be like this for a really long time because of all the maps. But he gives those examples of those sweet splits. In fact, here he says because globals have come into play, it's completely changed. It's now solo top with 4 rotating between the mid and the bottom on Dragonshire. Like, how insane is that? We used to think that the Bermuda Triangle, all those bushes, were too dangerous to move through. Now that globals are in play, that completely switched again. How do you even get people to play to that? Whereas maybe in a actual MOBA, because we're always in actual MOBA, in League of Legends, let's say, because we're always on a similar map, we can have those really granular strategies and understand why one character has to go become the carry and buy those items and deserves the gold, when instead we're all the same power level, so let's all kill the enemy team, let's all school, and never quite learn what's going on.
Yeah, and some of that ties into the meta shift conversation we're about to have, so I'm trying not to lean too far into that, but I mean, again, too, and I'm curious, Kyle, to get your opinion on this, because I know your stream, at its core, is focused on solo queuing. It's focused on being the best that you can be. It's inward looking it's inward looking in the most positive way. It's you tend to always be blame yourself. Don't get mad at the others. Find out what you could be doing better. Which do you feel that anything that Srey wrote in here, kind of like, it's almost like you kind of just need to make a personal choice. Like, what is your goal? What do you want to get good at? Do you want to get better at Heroes as a team game, or do you want to get better at Heroes as a solo player?
Both.
Can you? and then my final quick: can you do both?
You can, and that's why I'm so excited about Team League. We're going into our 4th weekend this weekend of Team League. I'm really excited for it. The stream happens at 2 p.m. over at twitch.tv/Kyle Fergusson. This week, I've got 4 podcasts total actually showing up. So it's been a really cool experience to be able to execute something on a higher level, even if, the players that we're getting together are maybe silver, gold, platinum, and I'll be doing the shot calls from diamond. But it's so fascinating to watch maybe lower skilled players come together. In fact, we had Jeff from Heroes Forge on this last time. He said he couldn't breathe for the whole game because everything was just going so fast. He wasn't used to visiting a world from Silver up to this Team League where everything's just happening all the time and there is no downtime. There is no just fart off in lane for a little bit because there's always something better to do. So this weekend, one of the things we're going to do is really try out these rotations, really see what it's like to be optimized, to see if we can pull those sort of things off and rally a team, which may just crush. Who knows? It could be cool. But on the flip side, I have this solo queue where none of this matters, where my knowledge of how to do an awesome rotation gives zero value. And I've seen the guys who jump in there and are like, all right, guys, you know what it is, right? It's Cursed Hollow. Get me 3 solid solo laners, and then we're going to have 2 dudes duo ganking, and it's going to be great. And the 2 duo gankers don't gank. And the lane dudes, you got too many solo laners. Now you can't team fight, and it just falls apart. It's useless information because no one else is playing to that. That's one of the main things we've always talked about is if someone's taking the boss, just do the boss. You can't argue with it. It's the strategy of the moment, and we just need to embrace that. So going forward, that's going to be the hard thing. The one thing I'm taking out of all this is optimization for myself.
Fair enough. It also sounds like, going back to the question I posed to you, which is, should you focus on yourself? Should you focus on the game as a team game? Can you do both? That, in the world of Hero League solo queue and in the world of Team League playing with a team, maybe just put yourself in a certain mindset for both. If you know you're going to be solo queuing tonight, prepare mentally for that type of, yes, you're trying to be the best that you can be, but be ready to adapt to calls you disagree with for the betterment of the team. Just adapt, I think, is the thing. And then if you're in Team League, okay, figure out who's a shot caller, and you're going to know your friends better than we do. So you can know, you'll be able to know when you can question the call. If you are the shot caller, you don't need to question calls because you're making them.
And the scariest thing about this whole thing is my sanity. What happens if I get good? What happens when I memorize all these rotations? And how do I stop myself from becoming tilted when my team doesn't execute on the knowledge that I possess?
It's okay. You can tell me I suck, Kyle. I can take it.
That's not at all where I was going with it. We still need to get you back on. I still love your kale toss.
Believe me, I cannot wait to come back on. But, oh, geez. The idea of playing Team League tomorrow rather than moving couches. Whew, you couldn't give me a more appealing option.
Oh, we'll be right here waiting for you, man.
Anyways, talked about the shifting meta. Let's get into that because we're gonna wrap it up under the Gold Club World Championships, which have been going on or are going on today, as a matter of fact. Ghosted Gamers had a really good article. Again, if you didn't read it, I recommend you go and take a look at it. It's called Gold Club World Championship Reveals the Post-BlizzCon Meta. Not the catchiest of headlines, I must admit, but one of the more succinct and well-written articles I've seen in Heroes for a while. And
frankly, you should be giving your views to Ghosted Gamers right now. They are doing a fantastic job keeping the articles rolling. Even when things are going at 1 a.m., they got an article going the next day. Mm-hmm. It's a great way to catch up, to understand what's going on in the game, in the meta. And some of our other hero sites like Liquipedia and, in fact, Heroes Nexus seem to be taking a step back. So put your love there.
Yes, indeed. So without really focusing too much on the teams and the games themselves, you really wanted to talk about the meta, what the meta now looks like in this post-BlizzCon world. And that's what the Ghosted Gamers article talks a lot about. And the Ghosted Gamer puts a lot of weight in how the meta has changed, which is this focus on global heroes, on the movement speed changes that happened quite a while ago now at this point.
Which is interesting how this has now evolved. Basically, what happened throughout BlizzCon was you had all the globals being fought over constantly. ETC's transformation from mosh pit to stage dive is a great example of how this process happened. Bigger maps, slower mount travel, and a couple of choice nerfs all made people like Dahaka suddenly very popular. So when you have these big maps like Warhead Junction, participating in a global battle is pretty darn easy. The nukes pop in the bottom, ETC leaps down there, Brightwing teleports in, Dahaka digs, and everyone's present. Now you have yourself a 5v3 and you win the fight. Easy, glorious, awesome. What's actually happening now is it's become more succinct. It's become better crafted, and teams in this gold club are taking people to Dragonshire. A small map, but still taking the globals to show how truly efficient they are with their global control.
Yeah,
and you can imagine one of these split push maps, if you can execute a rotation to such a close degree that even if people could respond from mid to top, they're too slow because of ETC, Dahaka, Brightwing.
Right. Absolutely. Oh, and the other thing too, Dragonshire, it kind of doesn't matter that it's small because of the nature of the objective, because it is splitting you 3 ways most of the time. So globals are still powerful there. So, and I find this interesting too, because this makes me think and tie it back to what we were discussing with Srey's post, which is this idea of, playing for yourself or playing for the team. And that's, I definitely still see in my league, ETCs are still going mosh pit mostly. You're not still seeing a lot of stage dive, and that it's kind of, I'm not sure how to coin the phrase, but it's like mosh pit seems like the selfish choice, whereas stage dive seems like the team choice almost in a way.
And I see nothing but stage dive right now, and they are, for the most part, poorly executed and miss. There's a bit of a delay time in there, and they'll often either not be far enough ahead or just entirely miss the team fight because it's moved on. To speak to that, I've been going Odin a lot on my Tychus play just because fights have become very unlocalized. No longer do people really just fight into cooldowns. They'll go, there's the laser, let's just back up, give it a minute, and re-engage in a moment.
Yeah, the meta knowledge is too high now, to where it just like your heroic is being countered by knowledge.
And with the mosh pit, it can still happen. There's still great opportunities, but we all get it in our heads that this is the new thing, and that's certainly what I'm seeing. So funny to hear that in your league you're still experiencing nothing but mosh pit. I think that is the right move.
Yeah, I'm not saying nothing but I still see it from time to time, and especially, I guess if I'm being honest, the ones that have disappointed me the most are still quick matches, so it's probably not even that relevant to bring up right now. But I still see ETCs almost every quick match go on mosh pit, missing their mosh pits. They just want the spotlight, right? You want to be the cool carry, which kind of goes back to Srey's points of that's not what this game is about.
And then, of course, they bring up that Muradin had those couple of nerfs, particularly to the Ironforge momentum, that brought him down just a peg, which has caused almost a permanent ban in the pro scene to ETC.
Yes. Which is strong. It's a strong movement, a strong change.
In this time of heroes being pushed into the limelight, in this time of redefining or defying, I could say. Have you seen the new ad? It popped up the other day on a YouTube for me.
The new ad?
Yeah, it has no gameplay in it at all. It's just characters flying at you. It
No.
serves the purpose.
No. So it's not the long one with Cloakin doing a VO.
No, this is just straight up like there's the guitar riff going and the where, and then the words fly at the screen. Heroes is different kind of thing going on.
Okay, I would argue that's accurate. If I can dig up something that from 10 minutes ago when you said that, we're told that Heroes is the casual MOBA. I don't think we've ever been told that by Blizzard. I think that's just popular opinion.
Yeah. But in my own games right now, I don't know if you're seeing this at all. I'm seeing a bizarre number of Asmodans, and they're doing solo pushes.
No, I've been seeing Asmo again. And just kind of confused, and I feel the confusion I am not alone in, because there doesn't seem to be a whole lot of knowledge of how to deal with it, Asmodan, because it's been a while since we've seen him with this frequency.
And they're doing full laser builds with Reign of Demons, and they're getting buildings, they're getting keeps, but if you respond to them and draft yourself a global, it can be rather easily countered. That and a lot of tracers, so the pros have decided their meta. My point here being that at home, it hasn't quite permeated.
No, and again, that comes back to hot slogs as well. I mean, you can watch. It's interesting, right? Because I don't feel we've kind of reached a point where I feel Heroes is more affected by what is on hot slogs, which means little to no change or very slow change, than it is by what we're seeing in esports, which is kind of the opposite of just about every other game I play. Anecdotally, I feel like whatever deck I'm seeing in Hearthstone Championships, that's what I'm going to see the next day on the ladder. Whatever composition I'm seeing in Overwatch, I'm going to be running into a lot. But in Heroes, it seems dictated by Hotslogs more than anything else, because you can look at those builds. You can pull up a Muradin, and if you go to Hotslogs, you look at what the most popular Muradin build is, and then you get into a game and your match with a Muradin, very likely it's going to be a carbon copy of that Hotslogs build.
Which is wrong.
Yes. Yes,
it's the wrong build. We've heard this multiple times, that if you go off Hotslog, the Muradin build is the bad one. And now it's turned around. But too late. How hilarious is that? Everyone's going Piercing Bolt, and the pros are all going, stop it, take Ironforge Momentum. And now, finally, we're like, oh, that's how you get decreased Dwarf Tosses. Let's do Iron, but it just got nerfed. So now Ironforge Momentum is the most popular, but everyone's running a month late.
Yeah, it's, I don't even know. It's almost like the trailer of a semi... not following the truck itself. Like the lead car is going the direction it should be, and the trailer's just all over the place, which is probably a bad analogy. It's slow moving because of the nature of Hotslogs, right? You're going to look at it. If you're looking for the build, you're looking for the Hotslogs build, you're looking for the largest percentage number next to the talent in that given level, and because of that, it's not going to move quickly. If that's what everyone goes to, it's going to keep people on the same build for a very long time.
The important thing is that we're realizing this, and it seems like something really simple, and it's completely nebulous, but the awesome thing is that I'm pledging here that I want to be right. And not afraid of being wrong, but I want to help people continue to love and enjoy this game, just as I am. So we need to find a way to get good information out to people. Yeah. And Hotslogs is no longer going to be that source for us, unless we're talking about map specific, and then you've got 10 maps, and 10 map strategies do not make a good show.
10 map strategy. Oh, what do you mean? Every show you don't want to go, well, this is what you do, except in this regard, except in that regard, except in that other regard, and then we go 6 more times on that train.
That is the very reason why I started a stream in the first place, is because the or and if statements were too high for radio.
Yeah, and by the way, this isn't a saying like unbookmark Hotslogs, never go back. It's still a great site. It's just don't take those builds as scripture. And I don't think this. I feel like the way we're presenting it this episode almost makes it seem like this is some huge revelation that we've just now realizing. But Kyle, you've been preaching forever to be flexible, to go with the flow, to take in the information that you are receiving in that game in that very moment and make your decision. Don't write it on a paper ahead of time and go in and just stick to it.
Yeah. It's going to be a transformation. I'm excited, but it's intimidating.
Yeah.
Get good.
That's, yeah. No shit. Anyway, so if you haven't been watching Gold Club, it's still going. It'll be going through the weekend. Some fantastic teams in this, and massive prize pools. The games have been pretty solid. So go take a look and enjoy that. And definitely go to GoSuGamers.net and read up on the meta article that we just discussed. Again, as always, links in the show notes. But GoSuGamers.net, not hard to go to. You can find it. Other than that, we have an XP event this weekend. This is actually the first I'm hearing about it, and I haven't actually been paying much attention to these things because I broke down and bought one of those year-long stim packs. So,
oh, well, you'll still get bonus XP on top of that.
I know it matters. It just, to me, it's like not as exciting as it once was. But yeah, so this is 50% bonus XP starting today and running through the 5th, which is, goodness gracious, Monday. I'm bad with calendars, it turns out. And the brawl this week is Ghost Protocol, which I love the name, but it's all Nova. So this is the Garrett sucks brawl. Let's be honest. This is one of my worst heroes, and so far down the list of heroes I have an interest in getting good with. But it's interesting. Snipe is an instant kill in this brawl.
Yep.
What? Wow. Yeah, I'm going to be terrible at this. I am awful at landing snipes.
It'll be a fun one. It'll be interesting to see if this, of course, spreads out, if we're just full of Novas everywhere who think they can one-shot everybody. It honestly could have a rather long-lasting result, whereas with the hammer one, I don't feel like many people are into it. People are digging this one.
Well, I think what's cool about this is for players like me. I think if you like Nova, this will probably be a cool brawl. Or maybe you'll hate it because you'll go up against a Nova who's better than you, and you'll have to face your worst fears that maybe you're not as awesome as you thought you were. That happens to me with heroes sometimes. I think it's cool for me, for someone who is more than happy to admit that they are awful with this hero. It's actually kind of a good trainer. Now, you're shooting at other invisible Novas half the time, so maybe not the best trainer in the world, but it's a pretty extreme scenario to be dropped into as a Nova, so...
If you play this and you learn how to counter Nova out of it, that's good in my book.
Yes. I like it. I like it a lot. All right, before we move into emails, it's a quieter week, by the way, so we're just going to go straight into emails. We're going to take quite a few emails today to round out this episode. I have a feeling, Kyle, it's the calm before the Fire Lord.
Oh, well, they're giving a little room for a certain card game that seems to be a bit popular.
Oh, I don't know what you talk about. What are you speaking of? I didn't mass like 15 games of a certain card game last night after I was done packing boxes in bed on an iPad.
Ah, you weren't playing Jade Stone and the Jade Jades?
No, I was playing Buffetin because it's way better. Anyways, yeah, I'm sure that's part of it as well. But considering every Blizzard game, for the most part, is loud as can be right now, and I'm stuck in the middle of uprooting my entire life, I'm okay that one of my favorite games was kind of just concrete this week. It's just set. You know what you're getting. I didn't have to, make sure my PTR was updated and go run and buy a hero I'm very excited about and learn it to give my impressions on this. I mean, we already gave our impressions because we played Ragnaros at BlizzCon, but I enjoyed just a normal Heroes week. It's nice because this game hasn't been quiet for a while. And it was nice to kind of just have a week where it's just like, cool, what's the meta like? All right, that's all I'm focusing on.
Well, sorry to ruin the silence with my self-discovery.
No, totally cool, man. Anyways, what I was going to say is we need to thank our patrons over at patreon.com/ITN, not just because they're supporting the show, but also because they were very patient with us this week. You were sick, and I'm moving, so we had to reschedule our patron hangout. So thank you to all the patrons who didn't leave us comments saying you guys are terrible and we're canceling our subs. So we appreciate it. Thank you, everyone, for your understanding about sickness and moving. As always, if you enjoy Into the Nexus and you would like to support us, patreon.com/ITN is the best way to do so. It's been a while since we've discussed this, but this is what Kyle and I do for a living. We're full-time content creators, and it comes to us directly through Patreon. So if you want to support Kyle, if you want to support myself, that is the best way to do so. And on this episode, we wanted to thank the following patrons. Thank you to Derek T, Jeremy R, a.k.a. Twammy, Marlon R, Todd S, Joel DK, ASDF, I question that name, Stephen L, and Jacob M. Thank you all so much for supporting the show. And now, let's take an email or two, or three, or maybe four.
Darkness stopped calling.
Does anyone else hear that buzzing?
Hold on. Darkness just texted me.
You can send your emails to itncast@gmail.com. Our first one comes to us from Der Eisbär, which apparently is the polar bear in German. And the polar bear, or Der Eisbär, my last name is Weinzierl. You think I'd be able to pronounce this. He says, I have a question for your show. Maybe you can give me some advice. I really enjoy the game and try to improve my play every match. I also really like watching Heroes esports to improve my understanding of the rotations, tactics, and drafting. Sadly, in Hero League, I seem to be constantly dropping breaks instead of improving. But on the other hand, in Quick Match, I do pretty well, and according to Hotslogs, my MMR is way higher in Quick Match than in Hero League, even though in Quick Match, I'm always playing my new purchased heroes, and in Hero League, I play the ones I think I do best with. So what do you think? Is there something I can learn out of this situation? What could cause me to perform worse in Hero League? Or is it a common thing that MMR in Quick Match is higher than in Hero League? Keep up the great work, heroes. Greetings, the polar bear.
Well, isn't this an applied episode?
Yes. Yeah, well, we just talked about Hotslogs. First and foremost, the MMR in Hotslogs is the Hotslogs MMR. It is not one-to-one. It is not a guaranteed mirror clone copy of the actual MMR in Heroes, because that is hidden and there is no way for us to see it. So it is possible, however unlikely. You should go look at your win rate. It is probably a good chance that your Heroes League MMR is lower than your quick match. But it is likely that it is incorrect from what is actually going on internally with the Heroes client.
And here's the real cap to everything we've discussed today. You have just described yourself as a mechanical player. You've described yourself as someone who can, with a hero that you like or are learning even better, more points to you, execute the correct mechanical plays in quick match. I can destroy for days as Li Ming in quick match. Can't win a game in Hero League. I love Li Ming quick match. I love Grey Mane quick match. Tracer quick match, these are all situations where maybe I don't have a tank. I'm really good at adapting. It doesn't really matter what map I'm on because I make it on time and I understand them well enough. But when you get into drafting, you got to pick the map picks. You got to ban the map picks. You have to understand what the team is on the enemy team. Is it a dive team? I lost a Hero League game this week because the enemy team put together a dive team and we had a Stitches. Stitches helps a dive team, obviously, when you start thinking about it.
Yeah.
That is a simple draft mistake that caused that game to be horrible. It caused it to be a stomp. But in quick match, that really wouldn't have mattered because it wouldn't have been strong for the map, maybe. Maybe that dive team that they suddenly had by chance doesn't really work on this particular map. But on this one, it did, and it gave them that superiority. So you need to think more about your map picks.
Yeah. And the other thing, I mean, we mentioned a lot, right? If you're this unsure, I mean, if you're losing this many Hero League games, watch your replays. Go in and see and actually study, look at the heroes that were on your team and the hero that you picked and the heroes that were on the opposing team and the talents that they picked, and then look at your talent build and cross-reference all of that and make sure you're doing what you should have. And that's just what you can look at in build and hero selection regard. On top of that, you can look at your positioning and the time. You talked about it earlier, Kyle, the time you report to objectives. What could you have done different? Did you show up late to a tribute on Cursed Hollow? Were you way late on getting to a shrine in Dragonshire, or did you maybe Hearth? Even though the countdown was at like 5 seconds, and you probably needed to be there to at least delay for a couple seconds before someone rotated up to help you. All that kind of stuff really comes into play, and again, not a nice package. There's no bow to put on top of this, but.
No, of course there isn't. But one of the best questions you can ask yourself for Hero League is, did I pick the right hero for the right job? And by saying that, you have to forget that awesome stuff you do in Quick Match all the time. You might have a character in Quick Match that when you see you don't have lane clear, when you see you don't have a CC on your team at all, you just simply take a talent. This really sweet talent that you feel like only you know about that does bonus damage to mercenary camps or lane minions. So you can transform this otherwise set hero in his own ways into what the team needs. That is extremely powerful in Quick Match. That is empowering in that scenario. But in Hero League, you should have taken the darn hero that did it better in the first place. And that's disappointing. But true.
Yeah. No, I think that's a good job, or a good thing to... A good kind of simple thing is, did you pick the right hero for the job? I think that's good. Or even if you did, were you able to do your job? Like if you've drafted for a strategy, were you able to execute that strategy?
Something I see a lot in lower leagues is the Lili is, let's say we have Nazebo, he's dead. He's going to respawn. There are mercenaries pushing down the top lane, and Lili goes, dead Nazebo, I'll go deal with these mercenaries. Upon rezzing, Nazebo goes, Lili has control of the lane. I'm going to go join the team fight. Now there's a team fight without a healer. Lili rages at Nazebo. Who's at fault there? Lili. In a solo queue scenario. Because Lili went and did a job that wasn't hers and confused the Nazebo into not doing his job.
I would argue she could have communicated.
Or as
Nazebo
rezzes, she mounts up and leaves the job. For him to do, and now it's sitting vacant. But not as destructive as it would have been if left completely alone, right?
I like that. I like yours. I think you've just found the Goldilocks. I think you just found the just right, which is don't even bother typing, elegantly just gesture by moving completely away. Because what's the worst case scenario there? Nazeebo joins the team fight, and then you just have a full team. I mean, worst, yeah, I guess what's the risk there? The risk is that Nazeebo doesn't return to lane, and you miss out on some lane XP.
Or you lose a keep. That'd be like the worst scenario. That you just keep pushing, and you lose a very important building. Catapults are now in play.
True. Okay. Fair enough. I like communication personally. It's not not always an elegant solution, but.
Right, and if we're dealing with maybe that level of play in the first place, I think winning the team fight would have given everyone a bigger morale boost. Losing the keep stinks, but you might go on to win anyway. Or you don't win, as I see repeatedly on Reddit. You go take the mercenary camp while they're all dead for 25 seconds.
Mm-hmm. It tends to happen, but yeah, I mean, if you're in that big of a loss kind of nosedive, I mean, there's a lot of things you can and probably should look at. I don't know. It's kind of hard without like looking at a replay, right? I mean, it must be hard for you, because considering that's what you do most days, analyze other folks' replays.
Well, that's the great thing is the replays are honest, right? And I asked for a pile of them so I can make sure that this isn't just a fluke in the background. So these are all assumptions for the polar bear, but never be proud of your quick match. Oh, what an awful thing to say, but it's so true.
Yeah, it's rough. I mean, personally, if I get a new hero, that's exactly where I take them first.
And remember, you're fighting now people who are of that level on their hero. So I have really stellar quick match games when I queue up as Tychus, Leoric, guys that I'm maybe just practicing for the night, and I usually get a support. Why? Because my hero is over level 10, and people who really love supports usually play the same support, and they're over level 10. But when you take Varian in at level 1, you are fighting other heroes at level 1. If you are a mechanical player and you can understand basically what you should be doing, what your job is by going into try mode, you're just going to wreck.
Yeah. That being said, I had a lot of fun on Varian launch week and quick match. I felt like a boss.
Not that it's a bad time at all. It's a lot of fun stun locking people who don't know what's up on a 6-second cooldown.
But am I learning anything, really, at the end of the day? It's probably past game 3. Okay, cool. I understand the timing of parry and the range of abilities and the speed of movement. I should probably move on to unranked draft.
Probably right. Probably that's the best thing you could do for yourself is make the transition. And drafting's long, and you don't always get to play what you want, but making sure you're experiencing that draft and even giving a glance at what the map is going to be the best way to improve.
Yes. Our next email comes from Iggy, who had a relatively long email, but we will sum it up in saying that Iggy talked about the constant constant mentions, my God, of things like Brightwing 2.0 and other models. Arthas has been another one that we've heard mentioned by the Heroes devs, and basically posed the question, do we think that we could ever see a feature where the new and old models could coexist inside of the game? Like some kind of option where he puts it, when choosing a skin where you could swap back and forth between the model 1.0 and 2.0, and that maybe certain skins would only work with one or the other version of that model. And he even gives an example of maybe this could be an answer to getting the Diablo 3 model in as Diablo. Like you select that, and then that has its own version of skins that only work with that, and then but classic Diablo is still in there.
And he brings up a great point here that the new Ragnaros skin is an entirely different model. I'm very curious to see. We haven't seen a picture yet of it being giant. I wonder if it is just a big version of Little Rag.
There are other heroes that are more or less different models, though, especially when you look at Raynor and Tychus out of their suit.
Sure, or the original in the game, which was the Rollerblade Nova.
Oh, you're right. That is... it's still... I guess she has unique animations and whatnot, but... Okay, fair enough.
So yeah, I like his suggestion. They do it in World of Warcraft, though you just sort of throw a switch, and I don't know why anyone would want to look at the old models, but hey, you can have it if you want it.
Yeah, absolutely. And it even My friend, the thing that tickled me the most in this email was he said, if this was Hearthstone, I would immediately dismiss anything even remotely complex about the interface, but I feel in the Nexus there is always hope. And I agree with him there. I think the StarCraft 2 engine is a little more robust, and they can do weird stuff like this. Whether or not, I think it's cool. It's a cool idea to answer that desire to get the female Diablo from Diablo 3 in the game. I think this is a cool idea for that. As for 1.0 versus 2.0, where like we could switch between current Murky and the old Murky, which, let's be honest, look really freaking similar. They look really similar. It's small little touches and nuances that make it different. And I would assume the same would be for Brightwing. As a matter of fact, I think they even showed it, didn't they? Oh,
what the actual model would look like?
Yeah.
Yeah, it was ripped. It looked great.
Yeah, it looked cool. But again, not that different from the Brightwing that's currently in the game. It's just a little more nuanced. It's a little more elegant. And I assume the same will be for Arthas, because Arthas currently looks like Arthas. I mean, what else are you going to do other than just make it a more high fidelity model, which is, I'm assuming, what they're doing. So in that regard, I feel like whatever work would go into making it an option so that you can switch between 1.0 and 2.0, that it's something I don't even think I really want. I at the time was like, oh, I think I liked old Murky better, but I don't really care that much. It looks very similar. It's still Murky at the end of the day.
I think they like to make events out of these things too. Malfurion still has no mouth animations at all, which is kind of strange. And then, of course, we've all been asking for Arthas for a long time. I wouldn't be surprised if it's done. It's just not piled up enough. I would say Blizzard likes to do these updates and not so much and Arthas got fixed. Did you see that in the bottom of the notes? More like a art update, 5 point, and then an explosions and double XP weekend.
Oh, and probably roll it out with a few new skins.
Right.
But yeah, I'm excited. I now that I'm remembering the Brightwing model that was shown, she looked great. Hopefully that means we'll finally get a Brightwing skin worth actually using. Mutalisk Brightwing. Why?
So easy.
Just why? I want a Mutalisk Brightwing. I want a Deathwing Brightwing. Which you can't even make a fun name out of that, because what would it be? Deathwing?
I think that'd still be cute.
It's just Deathwing, though. It's just the name of the actual character. That's what I'm trying to come up with, a mix of the two names, and it doesn't really help. But anyways, I do like that idea. I like that as an answer to getting the other Diablo version of the game. I like that a lot.
But they said they're almost done, so it's gonna come no matter what.
Yeah. Kurt G writes in and said, there have been a lot of discussion on the forums and Reddit about the post-game performance notifications and how useful or useless they are. A few months back, I thought a post-game report that a post-game report that showed how your game stats compared to your average for that hero would be a fantastic way to focus each game on your own performance. It could help ease the pain of a loss if you knew you beat your average damage by 18%, or it could prevent you from blaming everyone on your team if you realize you died 5 more times than your average. Kyle does a great job of focusing on how his play could have been better to help the team, and I believe this would do a lot to help others with that mindset. What do you think about replacing the post-game notifications with something more focused on personal performance? Even a way to compare your stats with the average for someone a league higher to set a goal? Great show, by the way. All the best, Kurt G. I love this kind of stuff. I mean, this is something that's also in Overwatch in your post-game report at the moment. It'll kind of tell you, you beat your average by 15% in a certain thing, whether it's healing or damage or kill-death ratio, stuff like that.
I would really like this. I haven't received a single notification.
Yeah, I haven't either.
But also, it's Diamond 1, and maybe I'm just not performing better enough to receive those notifications, which makes sense why all my friends in Gold and Silver are constantly receiving those notifications, because we're all hanging out increasing our mechanical play. And they're playing above their league on a mechanical sense.
I would like this to just be something that's always shown, though, regardless of whether you're really over or really under, like kind of like it is in Overwatch. You just have these columns for different values that you can achieve: damage, healing, deaths, etc. And then give us a little percentage next to it that shows us where we're falling with our lifetime average. I think that's cool.
It's tough because let's say you do Falstad and you first pick him. Not that I'm speaking from experience or anything like that.
Yeah, you've never first picked Falstad in your whole life.
No one does. And let's say we put together a team that has 0 merc ability. And I'm on Warhead Junction, so I go Wingman so that I can have a bribe. My damage will now be superbly lower than it would have been if I would have gone Gathering Storm for that game. How does the game client know that I didn't underperform in that case? Because my own players in my own game think I'm just trolling them because my damage numbers are so low compared to the normal sort of Falstad, but I'm filling a role.
I mean, is it a big deal at the end when you see your own? I'm not saying make this global for the whole team. Just this is something only you see, and unless you take a screenshot and tweet it out, no one else is going to see it.
That's true.
So unless at the end you go, "Aw, I'm below average," but you should just know that you were going to be anyway based on the talents that you picked.
That's true.
So what I'm saying is I'm not saying there should always be. You shouldn't be metagaming it so that I always want to beat my average, even if it's not what I should be doing right now. That's not my point. My point is this would just be, I think, cool additional information for only me to see at the end of the game.
I think they're going the right way with this by making it so we can access the tab screen while in the MVP screen now. And that's coming soon, and I look forward to it. Anything that lets people, maybe even forces people to analyze themselves for a period of time after the game.
Yeah, no, I think that's good. I think that would be something that we could have, going back to Icebear's email. That's something we could have pointed to, right? It's like, well, keep an eye on these things at the end of the game as well. But they're just not there at the moment. So, anyway, Kurt, thank you for your email. I would like to see that. I really would. Jens writes in. Jens and asks, should the MMR system decay more so it's only your most recent games that count, the last 12 months, for example? Ooh, that's a big window. Or should the placements have more of an impact? The placement matches seem like they don't make any difference at all, as you tend to end up in the exact same spot as you already are. I was thinking the same thing when placing in Hero League with a friend in Season 2, as we are demonstrably better than we were in Season 1, but got placed in the exact same rank. Am I only a whiny special snowflake, or has my past suckiness condemned me to a life in high silver, low gold?
Cool. Yes, on MMR decay. Yep. I think we have collectively as a community said, nobody wants this, but it's health insurance. So just deal with it. It's a fact of life. Agreed.
I definitely cannot play as much Heroes in a week, and as I would like MMR decay.
And it would probably be something that would negatively affect you, particularly in ranked play, because you enjoy unranked and quick match so much when you do get a chance.
Yep, absolutely. That might change when Hero League becomes solo queue only at the moment, because there is the option of duo queuing, and I feel I am doing myself a disservice by not duo queuing. I only play when I have a friend that I have deemed worthy of duo queuing in Hero League with.
Sure. Which is rare. I'm having a similar problem in World of Warcraft right now. I feel like I can't get my healing rotations up to snuff because the only content hard enough is the ones I do with you guys once a week in Mythic.
Fair enough, but I mean, if you're like, for example, I'm going to get into a WoW conversation here. I'm just going to move past that. But I get your point. I get your point to a certain degree, but at the end of the day, I think you can still make they can still create an MMRDK system that is not overtly punishing. I mean, we're looking, once you have it set, right? If it starts decaying after 7 days, if it starts decaying after 5 days, whatever number they give, whatever arbitrary value they make the start point of MMR decay, that is now it's a knob that they can dial if they feel it is not successful. If they feel it is overtly punishing, they can dial it up to 8 days, 9 days, 10 days. It can be a month, for crying out loud, because at the moment it is nothing. I could stop playing, come back in 3 years, and have the same MMR, and that is not okay.
I had a Muradin who played his first Hero League game in 2 months on my team. It was not good.
Right.
And that felt bad to lose full points for a unspectacular Muradin. Is something like this possible? Yes. Do we all want to see it? Yes. Let me just give the hard truth that's just sitting over everything. You probably haven't improved at a greater rate than your fellow silvers. Because we're all playing this game at the same time. We're all digesting knowledge, becoming better ideally. And with this most recent promotion, we talked about it and how successful it was to get burned out people in League of Legends to play Overwatch and then play Overwatch and go into Heroes of the Storm. And now they're here and they're very good at mechanical play. And they might be filling out silver with you.
Yeah, I mean, actually, that's a really good. But that's something that almost never gets brought up, right? Is the community as a whole's level of knowledge and this and the kind of rising tide, and all of the ships are going up. Yes, there are a couple ships that have holes in them, and they're going to stay at the bottom of that damn dock. But most of them are going to rise, and no one really talks about it. And I think a lot of us don't even want to admit it because we think. We want to think, we're kind of naturally programmed to think that if we are working on something that we are getting better at it, and we don't really think about the people who shoulder to shoulder with us are also working on it, and we don't really consider that, hey, maybe they've become good as well. I guarantee you the quality of games in Silver right now is higher than it was 12 months ago.
Most certainly. And in fact, just yesterday I was thinking to myself, what's with all these neutral skin Ariels riding horses in Diamond 1? They're League of Legends players. They're mechanically good. They came from Overwatch. They did not struggle with this game for 2 years, and this is as far as they placed. They just jumped in the game, and they know what to do, and they're rolling. And they're succeeding really well. And that's a frustrating thought, too, when you think about how much time and effort and thought and map presence and all these sort of things we've done to improve over time, but mechanical play, which is pretty much what this whole episode has been about, is just superior in that case.
Yeah. And that being said, also remember, folks, that when we do eventually get MMR decay, at some point you're going to get mad at it. And it might not just be because it affects you that your MMR starts decaying. It might be that, Kyle, you know that Muradin player that lost you that game because he hadn't played in 2 months? Mm-hmm. His MMR decay might throw him in a game with me. And
he might be really good in your environment.
But he also might not be.
No, he might not be, too. It could go either way. It could be that I went and practiced all week in quick match, and now I'm ready to roll, but my MMR decay took me down too far, and now you've got this visiting Muradin who's amazing. And why is he even here? So, it's something I picked up from the Dog Whisperer. He said, don't ever take anything an animal does personally. And it hurts when I'll walk by my cat, and for no reason, he might hiss at me one day. And it's probably because I didn't fill his bowl 4 hours earlier, and he's just finally letting loose the one curse word he knows. But I'm like, oh my God, my heart. But you know what? Same with the internet. Same with people. Same with game systems. Don't take it personally.
Well, yeah, that's the thing, right? Like, the goal of Heroes of the Storm was not to stick you, Kyle Fergusson, with a 2-month Dusty Muradin player.
Nope.
That wasn't the goal.
And I've been there. I've been that Dusty Muradin player. I've been that disconnected
Exactly. And it wasn't his goal to throw the game for you. He just wanted to play some Heroes, and Hero League is probably his favorite mode to play in.
Exactly.
And at the end of the day, you can't get mad at that person, which is hard for me to say because my natural instinct is to get angry. So, anyways, I think it's going to bring us to the end of this episode. Now that we've blasted through, my goodness, 4 emails of sizable length.
Yes.
Yes, indeed. So thank you, everyone, for tuning in. Thank you for sending in your emails. As always, and reminder, if you want to send in an email to Into the Nexus, itncast@gmail.com is the address to do so. Thanks again to our patrons, especially our producers, Declan H. and Cheesy Bob. You guys are awesome. Thank you for going above and beyond. To everyone else, if you want to support us, patreon.com/ITN is the way to do so. You can also drop us a 5-star review in iTunes. We have a new one this week from Thudball19.
Nice.
At least I know the sound it makes. You can usually catch us live Thursday nights at 8 p.m. Eastern Time on twitch.tv/AMoveTV. This week was an exception, and we might move things around for the holidays. Who knows? Depends on... we don't actually fall on any holidays this year, Kyle.
Ooh,
which is
isn't
kind of
that
nice.
fancy? And I am in town for the holidays. All my travel's done. I feel like, it feels magical.
Yeah. But family get-togethers have a way of popping up, even on non-specific holiday dates. So expect December to maybe jump around a little bit. But usually Thursday night, 8 p.m. Eastern, twitch.tv/AMoveTV is where to find us. You can also find us on alphageekradio.com if you're trying to catch us live on virtually any device. Follow us on Twitter at ITNcast, and we got to thank Gorath for our intro music and BrianGriffithMusic.com for our outro music. Thank you guys so much. Very talented musicians. Finally, Kyle, where can folks find you?
You can find everything I do over at KyleFergusson.com. But this week, I want to pimp something that's happening December 12th. The season ends.
Yep.
That's it.
Yep.
So we have a Team League event coming up.
We do.
And we're squeezing into the last moment. So
Yep.
if you are looking to get your neutral version of the mount, all you got to do is place in Team League.
Yep.
And that's going to happen Friday the 9th.
Next Friday. It's going to be wonderful.
10 p.m. Eastern.
Exactly, which is 7 for you? Yep.
Yes.
7
On the
Pacific.
Pacific Coast.
Yep. I'll be up late, but not as late as last time. So I'll still be mildly coherent by the end of it, hopefully. Good God.
And as I said last time, just do it. Just go. Don't even wait for us. Do your team leagues. We're only going to play 5 games this time. It's been a little hectic. But Friday, the 9th, jump in, /join AMoveTV. There's a space in between those 2 words. Join the channel. Get together for Team League. Become friends so you can complete your Nexus challenge. I look forward to getting to play with you guys.
And we will be streaming it on amove.tv as well if you want to watch it. So even if you don't get on a team with us, form your own team with fellow A-movers. It's going to be a good time. Follow me on Twitter, folks, at Garrett Art. There are 2 R's and 2 T's in Garrett. Everyone forgets the second T. And everything else can be found at amove.tv. Got a new Warcraft show, which Jocelyn called for Azeroth. Go check that out. We talk a lot of lore, but also game news and whatnot. So go enjoy that. Other than that, we have codes for you. Darkcastsystems.com. You can use the code ITN over there to get a free solid-state drive added onto your gaming rig. It's the computer that I use. Love it. Go check them out. And the same code ITN works over at tweakedaudio.com, where it will get you 30% off and free shipping off of your entire order of noise-reducing earbuds. We thank them for their support. We thank you all for listening. And until next time, good luck and have fun.
Take care.